Hi guys. Hi.
How's it going? Hi.
Good. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
Where are you at the moment? It looks like a very creative environment.
Yeah, so we're in one of the buildings in the design district. They've got like a lounge where like freelancers and creators can like come in and like do meetings, and yeah, it's very
so cool.
aesthetic.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I love the color. Orange is my favorite color. Is it orange or is it red?
It's like a red,
like a hot orange. Yeah.
Good color. Guys, it's so good to have you here. Thank you so much. We have lots of people watching from all over the UK. Yay. Okay, so you guys are here to talk about the Photography Foundation and also what you guys do, because you are actually photographers, videographers. You guys do that as a profession, which is so cool. Okay, so do you want to start by introducing yourselves individually? Each one, you can choose which one starts. I'll let you find that out. Amazing. And also just tell us about the Photography Foundation and what your experience of the Photography Foundation is.
Morning everyone, my name is Shilonite and I am a photographer but also digital content creator at TPF. So my day-to-day role is managing our social media channels, creating videos and posts for our pages across Instagram and TikTok, and I also create a monthly newsletter for our audience, which is like a roundup of different events that we do, and like different opportunities are available at TPF as well.
Hi, my name is Shea-Anne. So I'm a events and engagement assistant at TPF and also do a freelance and photography assistant and photographer. And at TPF, I help to just basically set up all the events, help set up TPF Talks, which is a series that we get lots of different people from different creative industries to talk about their experience and host like different photo walks and just hopefully build a community with like people from young people from different backgrounds.
Amazing. I love that. It's so cool. It's really cool that Photography Foundation does. I feel like I'm struggling with the Photography Foundation. that time. But it's really cool what you guys do. And as individuals, it's so cool what you guys do. I really want to delve into this. Photography is such an interesting area. There are so many people watching who would be very interested to know about how you can make that as a career. So I've actually got some examples of your work, don't I? So do you guys want to chat us through what's going on here? So Shilonite, could you possibly chat about what's some of these significant photos maybe, because I asked you to send these over because they encapsulate your career path, isn't that right?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mixture here. So majority of these photos is me during when I was like an intern at TPF. That's how I started out my career, and then now I'm a digital content creator. So it's just like behind the scenes images of me working, taking photos, different presentations. And there's also an image of me as a trainee on the bottom left-hand side, just taking out one of my, that's when I got my certificates. And then right beside that is me with Shea next to me, taking the image for like my innocent project brief when I was a trainee. And then above that, we've got a portrait that I've taken of my mom, and then a landscape image of like some flowers during like a photo walk with Ilford. And just like a mishmash of like my work and like my day-to-day life at TPF, really.
So cool. I love that. And I can see you went to uni, is that right?
Yeah, I graduated in 2019 and I studied media communications. So it was like a very like broad subject. I got to experience different mediums, and yeah, it was really exciting.
Oh my God, amazing. Thank you so much. That's a great, I love all these photos. I had a lot of fun putting them all together actually. Okay, and Shea-Anne, do you want to tell us about this, because this is some of your work, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is when I worked with South Bank. They made like a little like incentive where trying to get people from like black backgrounds to actually come together to actually create like a photo series that's based on like the Into the Black Fantastic exhibition that they did last year. So I was able to just come down and actually just like for like a week. It was like really intensive for 1 week just to like plan your shoot, go through the exhibit like by ourselves. So you had no one else to actually walk with us, just actually absorb everything in and actually just try and produce like film photos. And this was like my first time using a film camera, which is like I'm not used to it. So it was actually a good opportunity to actually try and learn about it and shoot on it, and actually have a little like exhibition where everyone was able to come in and like watch all my work and have my mum and friends just to come in and see my work being displayed. So it was really good.
They're so cool. Oh my God, honestly, what wonderful work here. They're very like expressive, aren't they? I love that. Really cool images. Thank you so much, guys, for chatting us through that. Okay, So I'm going to pause this because I want everyone to be able to see you on the big screen now, because you were just tiny thumbnails on the side. Okay, so I want you to know, did you know, I'm sure that you did know that photographer existed when you were at school, but did you think that that was what you were going to end up doing?
No, I felt like I was pretty much going to go down a pathway which is like 9 to 5, but not in the creative industry. At the time, I didn't think that photography was quite like achievable, or like didn't realize it could be a career. So when I found out about TPF, it was like great to like really widen like my horizons and realize like, okay, I can actually be a photographer. But yeah, I had no idea about like other kind of like creative roles. So it kind of like really highlighted that to me, for sure.
For me, I've always like wanted to work in the creative industry. I don't know where it would be, but it's like I finally like when because I went to uni as well, and I did like media communications, and then like with different like subjects, and it was like photography was one of them. I liked how photography is very like open-minded. Like it depends on the individual. Like there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to photography. So with me, I didn't think I'm gonna be the best photographer. I think when you for first entry, it's like, oh, he's like you, a photographer, art director, like producer. But like when you step back, it's like, oh, actually, there's a lot of people who work behind the scenes. And I feel like for me, I just like the idea of like working in the creative industry rather than being like, oh, I need to be like this big photographer or anything. I kind of just like want to take a step back and actually, collect some of my work and actually, even if I don't continue the path of like being a photographer, I have like work that I've actually produced over the years, and it's just been really good to actually show like other people like, oh, this is my pathway, and like this is what I've done, and just actually take a step back.
Absolutely. And I do think like there's something to be said in the fact that photographer, the image of photographer is like a very kind of, I guess, abstract image where it's like, oh, you have to be like this true creative, and you've got to, like you have to have all these contacts ready made. Like every time we see a photo anywhere that has been taken by someone, and so there are so many photographers out there, and it is a very, very achievable role to do. And starting out as a photographer's assistant is a really good way to start, isn't it? Like that's a really good example of how you can get your foot in the door.
Yeah, definitely. Like assisting, shadowing, even like running might be like seen as only in like the film industry, but you can do that on sets, like for photography shoots. It's quite like transferable. So there's many ways that you like can get involved, or even just like having a chat with your favorite photographer, and like just having like conversations is a good way to start as well, even if it's not just being on set, just like reaching out to people that really inspire you.
Absolutely. And actually, that's really interesting because we touched upon the intersection between photography and videography in a way there, kind of briefly, because they are kind of merging slightly further together, aren't they? They're kind of more overlapping. Are you guys also able to take like video content and do all of that kind of stuff as well? Do you want to chat a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So at TPF, part of my role as digital content creator is a lot of like reels and like videos, and just capturing behind the scenes of things. So it really like exists with one another, I would say. It's quite like the skills that you take in photography, like having a visual eye, can be like transferred into like taking videos. So I feel like they exist quite nicely, and there is like demand for like clients wanting like photographers to also do like video work. So if you have skills on both sides, it's really great to have.
Yeah, and I would say even before I started being like a more events and engagement coordinator, I was like helping out with like kind of be like a freelancer with them. So I'd actually come in and interview like some of the alumni that, because I was a TPF trainee, so I've actually interviewed some of like our past trainees and actually set up like little proposals like what my questions I'm gonna ask them, and actually set a day where I can interview the trainees, get their thoughts and feelings about being a TPF trainee, and actually propose like their work so it can be shown on like their graduation day when they've all completed, and actually see that their journey from like when they started to when they ended.
I love that. So it's building a network as well, making sure that you're kind of helping other people get into the sector as well. And that is something that the Photography Foundation is really especially good at, isn't it? It has continuous cohorts of young people coming through. Talk to us a bit about how the Photography Foundation could help students who are watching now if they were interested in kind of applying or taking part or getting involved in some way.
I think one key way is through our events. That's how we get like a lot of young people in, and then we take the opportunity to like explain to them what the program is and how they can get involved, even if it's like as volunteering as first, if they feel like they're maybe not ready to like commit to those 6 months, even though it's like 1 day a week. So we have like TPF talks, so people to educate themselves and come down and connect with other young creatives. We also run workshops. I think it's TVC for this year, but it's like public workshops where we invite people to come in and kind of like learn how to use a camera, how to use lights in the studio and things like that, just to like, yeah, educate people and make them realize it's really accessible and just have the opportunity, because it really is hard to kind of like get access to studio space because it can be quite expensive. So we like to support people in that way, just so they can like get a feel for like equipment and things that are out there to experiment with.
Yeah, it's just really good to actually be in an environment where a lot of people are just like trying to understand the industry, and even still like have like lots of different like roles within like being a volunteer. So sometimes people be like helping people sign in to be like, oh hi, how are you? Like, what do you need to know about the TPF? That get them more talking skills, so they can like actually want to go up to people like, oh, introduce themselves, and even do like a little bit of like photography, but like events photography, so they can actually use some of the work that they've produced, like host and help taking picture of events and put in their portfolio, like, okay, so that's some of the work that I've been doing with like TPF, and like, you know, just slowly growing like those little building blocks before they want to actually like commit into like maybe going to photographer, but also like help them maybe do like, and maybe like producer or art director. Like, it's just so many little things that people can actually just learn about and actually just slowly grow and actually learn more about the creative industry, rather than just thinking, oh, I have to be the photographer. You don't have to be. You can be like help with events. We can help with like just help like set up everything. So it's just all good to actually understand like there's different roles within the creative industry.
I love that. And it's so true. We actually heard that from Emily earlier at Christie's as well. You know, they have events people, and they also have photographers who work in the events and work in Christie's and all these things. And so like, you're so right, all of these worlds are so kind of like intertwined so much. You like you don't have to decide that you want to be a photographer in the photography industry if you don't want to. You can do something around that, or you can do photography in another industry, or whatever you want. So it is very flexible. It's really interesting. It's such a great area to go into. Okay, so do you have any you said that your kind of the dates for this year are to be confirmed. Is there any online resources that young people can have access to now? Is there an Instagram account or a TikTok account maybe to follow? Is there anything that students can like do now basically while we're waiting for those dates to be released?
Yeah, so you can jump on our website, which is thephotographyfoundation.org, and we tend to have like an events calendar on like our events page, so you can kind of have like a preview of what's to come. I would also recommend also signing up to our newsletters. That's like the first point of contact where you like find out on the first of every month what we have coming up. And then we regularly update our Instagram and TikTok, which is at Photography Foundation on both accounts. And then we tend to like post the experiences of trainees and what our events are like. And then we also have our Vimeo page, and that's full of like interviews from like previous trainees or like behind the scenes from like the exhibitions, so you can kind of like learn what it is to be like to be a trainee. And what do we have?
Like, we do have like, if you go on Eventbrite, just like you can also see all of our events. It doesn't even have to be like workshops. We do host like co-working days, so people can just come in and actually just, if they want to get work done, they can just come into our studio and actually just sit down and actually like from 10 until like 3, just sit down, get the work done, and actually just come into the design studio. It's a really nice place, because we just recently moved it from like last year, so it's got to a year being here, but it's really nice to just maybe get out and like get from like out from your home and actually do a new area to help boost your creativity.
That's so cool. Oh, sorry, carry on. No, go. Yes.
Last thing is we also have like some blogs coming up. So it's basically a roundup of like all the interviews and advice that we get from our speakers to share with our audience. And that will be on our website this year.
Oh, I love that. That's a great resource. Okay, so if you are in London, please do go to the Photography Foundation's offices, because you can co-work there. You can have a look at what the studio looks like. You can really get a feel of it. If you're not based in London, absolutely head to the website anyway. I'm sure you guys, well, you said that you have lots of online interviews with previous trainees, stuff like that. And the blog coming soon. How exciting. That sounds amazing. Instagram, TikTok, obviously check those out. And yes, okay, I think that covers everything that you said, didn't it? Okay, yeah. Amazing. Guys, you have been so interesting to chat to you. Thank you so much for opening up the world of photography and videography for us. That's really fantastic. The Photography Foundation will be a resource that all of the students and schools, I'm sure, will be using from now on a regular basis. Thank you so much, guys. And that's the end of the session. So nice to have you both here.
Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.